are you?
I'm the winner of the 2012 Global eBook Award for Short Story. I'm also the person who spent his entire career from kindergarten through 12th grade being told that my reading and comprehension skills were subpar.
What's your name?
My name is Christopher J. Wesley.
What's your passion?
My passion is to create a story world that encompasses fiction, fine art, music, and wrapping everything up in this package of raw emotion and people learning how to be their own heroes in life.
What are you seeking to do with this passion?
I'm seeking to use the stories that I'm telling and the art that I create, and the music I create, to help people feel empowered, to run them through these emotional journeys that helps them understand how they can live their best lives.
Why do you want to be a transmedia artist?
I believe that being a transmedia artist helps make the story world that I'm creating more compelling. It allows people to invest in characters and see these long arcs of them learning how to be their own heroes, because in real life, it's not simple. It's not easy to figure out who you are and to go through the steps you need to find where you belong.
What drives you to live your dreams?
What drives me to live my dreams is remembering who I was when I was 16 years old and I looked out at my life and I saw no real future for myself. It was going to be jail or death or some combination, jail then death. And, I had no hope. I had no mentors, no one to look up to, and no one that believed in me. I had to figure out how to build self-esteem, how to build character within myself, just out of my imagination. And I want to serve as an example that even if you're in that space, there's still hope. You can still find purpose and meaning and value in yourself and live a life that is worth living.
Who inspired you?
I'm inspired by the idea that we all have something unique about us that the world needs, whether it's our artistic talent, our ability to solve these just really complex mathematical equations, whatever. We all have something of value to give, and someone somewhere out there, someone in the world needs us to find our gift and to use it.
What medium do you like to work in most?
The medium I like most is, it just depends on what I'm trying to convey. I flip between them all. Sometimes all I want to do is music. Sometimes all I want to do is fine art. Sometimes all I want to do is write fiction. You might say I just kind of get around when it comes to artistic endeavors.
What mediums have you worked with?
For different mediums, I have been actor on stage, actor on film. I've written and directed short stories, experimental film. I've been a page poet. I've been a theatrical or spoken word poet. I'm a visual artist, music artist, songwriter, music producer, audio engineer, fiction writer, non-fiction writer. Pretty much wherever my curiosity takes me, it's where I go.
What are the setbacks that you've had while pursuing your passion?
I would say there are a lot of setbacks, but I think the most important one to focus on, the most important one to overcome, is self-limiting beliefs. I've found, at least for myself, I'll just speak for myself, that the biggest hurdle is allowing myself the space to try different things, and giving myself permission to fail. And that's usually when I find success.
What do you think of rejection?
I think that rejection is the quickest way for me to eliminate the people who hold no value for whatever it is I'm trying to do. So, like in the case of visual art, when I create a piece, if it doesn't speak to someone and they I don't feel they're rejecting me by rejecting the piece. I believe that if it just doesn't speak to them, and that's okay.
What makes you, you?
I'd say what makes me me is this need to embark on this journey in my own particular way. I don't have a problem, learning the rules of whatever it is I'm trying to do, but I'm pretty much learning the rules so that when necessary, I can effectively break them.
What is your voice to giving back?
My voice for giving back is really centered around the idea that everything I create is meant to be a conversation starter with whomever it reaches, that they have value themselves and that there's something within them that the world needs. It's a way for us all to look at the way we add value to the world.
Who's your superhero?
I would say the closest thing I have to a superhero right now would be people like George R.R. Martin, who wrote the books for Game of Thrones, and George Lucas for what he's created with Star Wars. Those are the kinds of creators that have, and Stan Lee. These are the kinds of creators that have created these immense story worlds that allows us to, really engage deeply with the characters and feel the things that the characters are going through over these long storylines, and it really makes them feel, in a way, like real people.
Which artist is your favorite?
I would say for favorite artist, I'm just going to be controversial. I'm going to say Kanye West. Because I never feel like what he's doing, what he's creating is meant to just be popular. Whatever he's doing, he's following an artistic vision, I feel. And to be honest, I don't agree with the directions he takes sometimes. I don't always like what he's creating. But I always feel that whatever he's creating is genuine and is coming from a place of great depth and meaning for him.
What do you think of the scholarship program?
I think the scholarship program is a great way for those of us that are applying for it to ask these kinds of hard questions that help us get a deeper understanding of what it is we're trying to do and who we're trying to reach. I know for me personally, these questions have been a way for me to engage with my artistic practice in new ways.
What do you want to get out of the program?
What I'm trying to get out of the program is a deeper understanding of what I can do to help me find and reach my audience in a more effective manner. Because, like I said, we all have these gifts, and there are people out there who need our gifts. And so for me, the most important thing is to not just create the things I need to create, but to find the people who need them and serve them. There's no one out there like me. I'm here, and I will not apologize. I will do me. I'm going to do me. Dysonna is an example of what you can create when you hold true to your vision and don't, rely on other people to pioneer these things for you. I've seen over the years as Dysonna has evolved into these theatrical shows, you know, piece by piece, starting with the events at the Rose Gardens and then growing into these events in theaters, and these theaters not just in the local area, but across the United States. I think that type of, those kinds of projects are important for people like me who is trying to blaze this path, and there are no rules. There's no one who has gone before and done the exact thing. And I believe that is why Dysonna is important to all artists right now.
My artistic process dates all the way back to a trauma that I suffered at the age of 5. My father was an avid golfer. He would consistently go away on weekend trips and usually leave me in the care of my grandmother. One weekend, however, shortly after my parents divorced and my mom had taken my younger sister and left my brother and my older brother and myself with my dad, he offered to take us with him on one of his golf trips. This was unheard of, so I was really excited about going. And when it came time to go, the day we were supposed to leave, I found out that my brother wasn't going to be coming with us. I was told that he had things he needed to do over the weekend. I wasn't happy with it, but I spent the entire weekend, you know, trying to remember everything that I experienced so that when I got back home I could tell him about all the different things that I saw and that we did. And what ended up, we got home, my father opened the door, I bolted into the house, ran all the way up to the hall, all the way down the hall into our bedroom, and realized all of my brother's things were gone. I don't know how long I stood there, but shortly after, my dad came into the doorway and he told me that my brother had moved in with our mom. At that moment, I wanted to cry so bad, but I understood that if I did, I'd give him something to I'd give him a reason to give me something to cry about. And it was understood that once my dad started swinging, he didn't stop until he got tired or until someone stopped him. And at that point, there was no one there to stop him. So I sucked it up and pretended like it was okay, even though inside I felt like that it was the most alone I've ever felt in my life. And I wondered, why wasn't I worth saving? The next time I saw my mom, I asked her if I could move in with her too. She had moved in, married another man, and she told me there wasn't room. That my stepfather wasn't used to kids, and now he already had two kids in the house without me, making more trouble. At that moment, I understood that I had to take care of myself, that no one was going to come save me. I spent my entire childhood physically living in reality, but in my head, living in this fantasy world that allowed me to endure everything that I needed to endure. And that has become part of my process. So all of my artwork, it starts in the real world. It starts as a photograph. But then I add my imagination to it. The way I see the world, that romanticism. It's how I made it through my childhood. It's how I create the art. so that every piece that I create is not just an affirmation, it's a reminder that regardless of how hopeless life may seem, if we approach it with the right amount of wonder, just enough imagination, we can do more than just make it through. We can come out on the other side, loved, belonging, and whole.
Hey, Chris Wesley here. If you haven't heard, I just won a $1,000 art scholarship, so you know what that means. Shopping. Before we get to that though, I do want to say that on top of winning the actual prize, it was a great experience because it gave me an opportunity to speak to mentors, to meet people that I otherwise wouldn't have had access to, gave me information about running an art business, because really the whole concept of being a starving artist is BS. But it is a hard thing figuring out how to get paid to do the thing you love. Whether you're an artist or whatever, it's just not an easy thing.
For me, having access to a mentor is getting a better understanding of what it is that I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of skills that need to be mastered beyond just knowing how to create whatever it is, create my fine art or to write. Just being good at what you do, or even if you're great, that's not enough. That's not gonna really get you to the other side and make you professional. And having access to a mentor helps me close that gap, helps me understand the bigger picture